Welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be looking at the Suzuki Swift Sport in the hybrid variant. This car starts at 25,550 euros. Our variant with the extra color is going to cost you around 26,470 euros. You do get a 1.4 liter 4-cylinder engine which is called the Booster Jet. It is also turbocharged. So Booster Jet, it must be fast. It only has 129 horsepower with a 6-speed manual gearbox and 235 Newton meters. It will get you from 0 to 100 claimed in 9.1 seconds. If we can get that, we'll check it out in a second. And we also have a top speed of 210 kilometers an hour. Okay, 9.76, I'm not the best when it comes to shifting quick. He did an 8.8, but this thing is really fun to actually drive, especially with the manual gearbox. Driving this and trying to shift it up, it's really nice, and you can definitely get it down below those 9.1 seconds. On paper, the car doesn't actually look that sporty, but when you take in consideration the dimension and also the weight of the car, it is actually fairly sporty and it's pretty agile. So you have a car that is 1.73 meters wide, which is really tiny, 3.89 meters long, 1.49 meters tall, and only weighing in at 1 ton and 95 kilos, which is really nothing. And that makes the car very sporty and agile. You gotta say, with the agility of this car, it really is amazing driving this car around the corners. Whoa. You can put it up to 6,500 is where the red line is, and you can just push this car, and I mean these roads are perfect right now, but the agility that this car gives you because of its lightweight and the corner capability of this car is just amazing. Just the way you can push it around here is just really fun. You can definitely feel that it doesn't have the initial punch right at the start. It does take up to around 2,000, that's when it starts to kick in, because that's when the turbocharger really kicks in. You can see then at these lower speeds it is really fun to drive this car. But with the extra electric engine that you have in here, which does help you a little bit getting up to that 2,000 RPMs, that's, like I said, where the turbocharger kicks in. But it makes it up to those 2,000 just to get a smooth experience when it comes to the acceleration, because that electric engine is going to help you a little bit in that aspect. And that electric motor is in the front as well, so you do have a full front wheel drive system in this car, which does allow you to go around these corners. Pretty cool, and as well it's just perfect. That electric motor is going to give you 14 horsepower and a total of 53 Newton meters, so not that bad, but also not that great. It's a 48-volt battery, so it's not the biggest. I'm surprised by how fun this car is to drive around these corners. It might only have 129 horsepower, but it does push you, and it just allows you to have a fairly agile experience around these corners, and it's just really fun to drive. The steering input's also very direct, which I really love. Not only does it drive fairly sporty, the design also looks fairly sporty. Compared to normal Swift, you can see there's a lot of different touches on here. For instance, we have a dual exhaust system, which we already took a look at. Doesn't sound that great. We also get these like fake carbon touches all around the car, which are very nice. And in general, a very nice design in the back with a little bit of a roof spoiler on there as well. Same can be said for the front, because you also again get all these carbon touches on here, which look pretty cool. And also the lip down on the bottom is also this fairly sporty looking lip with carbon touches. And the lights on here are also full LED apart from your blinkers, which are halogen, which I'm a little bit interested about. And then if we take a look on the side, we can also see that we do have a dual color on here, which is a 920 euros extra, but that really makes it look good, because in the interior you also get some black touches, which looks really nice. And also all the way down here, again, a very big side lip, which is all going to be in carbon, fake carbon. We also got a 17-inch alloy wheels on here, and we also have a braking distance of claimed around 33.4 I've seen in some tests, but let's see what we can get. 0.01 second quicker than what you had. So let's quickly see what we got. We did definitely slide a lot, and we got 43 meters. I was 0.01 seconds quicker than you, but I was 1 meter slower than him, or longer distance than him. So 43 meters, we do have winter tires on here, and it's also, you can definitely feel that the temperature on the asphalt is just non-existent, so grip is really not there. I did see some tests online around 33.4 meters, so a very good distance for the braking distance when you have summer tires in optimal conditions. Yeah, so if you have that, you can definitely reach it, but 43 and 42. Ugh. So the fuel tank in here is actually fairly small with 37 liters. We do have a WLTP claimed consumption of around 5.6, which is not much. And you can see right now we are currently at an average of 7.4 liters, which is due to the fact that we've been driving very sporty. You can see because of these roads here, we've been driving a little bit more sporty. And the other thing is that, well, yeah, we did 0 to 100 tests, brake tests, whatever. But if you are really driving this normally, you can definitely get it down to that fuel consumption, which is really nice. And even if you're driving sporty, 7.4 for a sporty, we did 0 to 100 tests, brake tests, driving fast around here. That is really good consumption. I mean, it's a 4-cylinder, which is only a 1.4 liter and has little horsepower. But still, even if you're driving in town, you can get it down to around 6.26 liters, which is really good. And it's going to allow you to basically drive that car a fairly long distance. And you wouldn't expect maybe to have this good of consumption from this car. The thing that's also nice about the car is that it is very sporty, and that's one thing that they did do well, that everything in here is, well, it has a sporty aspect. But if you take a look at, for instance, the suspension, stuff like that, it's just not going to give you any comfort because the suspension is very hard. Road noises are also very loud in here, and especially if you're going 130, for instance, in here in the interior, it's just really loud because the isolation is not that great. But we do also actually have quite a good amount of safety features. With the facelift in 2020, they actually updated their safety features on here because the previous one wasn't that safe for the safety assists, around 44% on the NCAP norm. But they updated that with a couple more assistant features in here now. For instance, we do also have side traffic assist or blind spot assistant, which is nice. We also get lane assist. We get front collision warner, rear collision warner. We get a parking camera, which is okay, not the best quality. But in general, you get quite a lot of safety features for a car that's actually fairly cheap. So 25,000. You also get adaptive cruise control, a speed limiter, which is nice. The interior also looks pretty cool because we do have that red and black touch on the outside, and you can definitely see that also contrasts with the interior because we have a lot of red touches. For instance, down here we have this red stitching, or not stitching, like this red panel. We have some more reds on the cockpit there, and also on the top, I don't know if you can see it, we have this LED display in there, which is also, or LED light, which is also in red, and this bar on here as well. Quality-wise, obviously not the greatest, a lot of hard plastic. And you can also see on the steering wheel, we do have like this piano black on here, which is not nice. Piano black on the center a little bit, but with those red touches again. Infotainment display is obviously quite old. I do like that we have analog displays in here, which is pretty cool. You don't have Apple CarPlay on Android Auto wirelessly. You do have automatic climate control on here with heated seats for the passenger and also the driver, which is nice. No inductive loading space, but quite a good amount of storage space in here. Also quite comfortable in the back, considering the car is fairly small. You can definitely sit in there for some smaller journeys, not longer journeys. You don't get any heated seats or anything like in the back, but a good amount of space considering how big or how small the car is. In the trunk you also get a little bit of storage space, but not that much, so it's not that practical. 265 up to a 947, so really not that much. And if we flip over the back seats, you can see we get the biggest loading height that I've ever seen in there. Like, look at that gap that you got there. That is one of the biggest I've seen. And also the loading lip in here is not that nice, so not the practical boot, but that's not what the car is meant for. So what's my final verdict on the Suzuki Swift Sport? You do have some competitors in the same price range. For instance, a Hyundai i20N, which is going to cost around the same price, but that's going to give you 204 horsepower, which is quite a lot more, which might be a little bit more fun to drive. However, you do get some sporty touches on here. You also have a car that's very agile, fairly practical for the city as well because of that small size. And you also just get a little bit fun with it from the manual gearbox, try and shift it up. One that turbo kicks in as well, especially lower speeds. That car is really fun to drive. Dual exhaust system in the back, which really doesn't sound that great. But in general, a pretty fun car to drive, and it's a fairly cheap one as well. You can get it used for around 18,000 euros, which is quite nice. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe, and bye-bye.